Hi, everybody. I'm Katrina. This is Sow and Tare live. We do this every Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. Again, that is Pacific time. And we talk about all sorts of stuff. We'll start off by going through comments and answer any questions or discussion topics. And then I have a planned topic of discussion, which if you guys were here before last week, you already know what it is. It's about what plants talk about, the documentary, and how that affects everything in our garden and how we can apply that knowledge. So there you go. I'm going to try one more time. Thank you, Dawn, for trying to test my new link. We tried this last time, and the old link still works, but I'm going to try and test this again for Quail University is my affiliate link. Yeah, Verna, she did a short one and trying to get it to work. She says it's working now, so we shall see. Maybe I have to copy it directly from here. Let's see. All right, hang with me here. Let's see if this works. All right, so that should work. And that's the last time I'm going to test it. Otherwise, we're going to use the old link. So, welcome. All right, let's go back on the top. Aaron must have been here. He doesn't have a comment on my thing. So, hi, Aaron. Because Dawn says, hi, Aaron. I'm second like. Welcome, Dawn. Hey, Jasmine's here, Time and Timber Homestead, stopping in early to say hi. It's been busy on the homestead, and I have been absent on social media lately. Hope to catch you live tonight. Awesome. I hope you're still on. I totally get it. I have been super, super busy as well, and sometimes it's hard to get everything in. So welcome. Angela's here. Wanted to say hi from Roseville, California. Welcome, Angela. And she also says, I usually watch the replay next day as I can't watch the live. Hope to catch one someday. Well, I hope that you're able to jump on one of these someday as well. We had a lot of fun. All right, that's me testing my Quail University link. And we'll see if the most recent one works. Hey, Joy. Joy's here. Hello, all from Western Oregon. 50 more eggs in lockdown, day 16. Yes, good luck. Good luck. I have eggs in my incubator as well, right below you guys. Hey, Feather Connections Homestead. Hey. Cat's Kelly. Hi, Kelly. Hope you're doing well. Welcome. Aaron is here. He says, hello, everyone. Hi, Aaron. Welcome. All right, we're trying to figure out the link. Steve's here. Hi, Steve. He says, there better not be a test on the homework assignment. I did it, and I'll charge my flower colors if necessary or I'll change my flower colors if necessary to prove it. You're funny. It's pretty cool, right? Okay, the short link works just fine. Good. Thank you, Steve. Yeah, either one will work. So we're just working on it. Hey, Landry's Little Farm. Hello, everyone. Hi, Brad. Thank you for joining us. And Verna's here. She was here before. She was just testing all these links. Verna is, there's no HTTP in it? Okay. That makes sense. It's not much of a short link if it's not a link, huh? I guess I need to do that every time. All right. So Verna is my moderator. She is in blue, and you'll see her in blue, and she takes care of the bad guys and all of that. She also has her own live chat on Saturday mornings, so check out her channel. She is raising quail and cuy in her apartment. Good stuff for little spaces. What is yours? Oh, you have to have the HTTP for your link to know it's a link. Interesting. Okay. I better tell Linda that because the thing she sent me was just that short thing. Good to know. Good to know. Dawn says, Katrina, he had a comment Oh, that was gone when I came on? I don't know why it does that because I always put a note in there that says, welcome. We're going to start at 6 on Monday, and please keep your comments family friendly, which I didn't even say in my beginning. Please keep your comments family friendly, and it's never there when I come on, so I don't know. Yeah. Gidrose Urban Hope says here, hey all, hello. Your tomatoes are looking wonderful. My tomatoes are this big. So you guys are much, much further ahead than I am. Everybody's saying hi. Oh, Aaron has an answer to his last homework assignment. Okay, that's good. We'll get there. Oh no, Erica. Erica's here. Welcome, Erica. She says, my dog kicked over my incubator. Will the eggs still hatch or are they too scrambled? It was bad enough to crack half the eggs. What I would do is I would candle them. How far in are they? I would candle them and put the ones back in that are not cracked. That's what I would do. Let's see what everybody else says to do. That would be what I would do. All right. Thank you, Berta. So we are here. That's it. You guys don't know? Okay, we're gonna ask Aaron what was the answer to your homework assignment. So we got into it last week. I think most of you guys were here who are commenting. If you're just tuning in, you can look at last week's as well to kind of see the path that we took. Power went out. We had 2 of them. But basically, I told you guys about a PBS documentary called What Plants Talk About. And hopefully that will come up. But the What Plants Talk About, if you right click and open, so you don't leave this live, open in separate tab, then that'll be in there. It's also a link in the description of this. If you haven't watched it, I would definitely watch it later. But that is a little documentary. It's an hour and it's PBS. It's not little, but it's a documentary, and it basically goes through the communication that plants have. With chemicals, with mycorrhizae, the interactions that they have with each other, moving around, different nutrients to each other. So it's pretty cool, and having different predator responses. So if they get munched by something, they can call in predators. And I wanted to basically put it out there to say, if you guys did watch it, or even if you didn't, what you can apply those practices to your own garden with that knowledge. So there you go. Dawn is saying to Erica, oh, I'm so sorry. I think someone I know had their cat knock theirs over, and she did have some hatch. Okay, good. Erica said, that's what I did. Still too many to see anything develop. Still too early to see anything develop. Okay. Well, let us know how it goes. I mean, it's the best you can do, right? I would remove any of the cracked ones though, because they'll probably end up, going bad. This is a long time ago, Aaron. This is a long, long time ago. Okay, we had another homework assignment that was for Aaron only. Okay, how long ago was that, Aaron? That was like a month ago. Male rabbits are definitely harder to skin than females. Brad is my witness, so he also ate my homework. I knew that Andy Rabbit and I were not the only ones that experienced this. So we were talking about, we raised rabbits, and Aaron processes way more rabbits than I do. And I had posed a question to the group of, are female rabbits easier to skin than male rabbits? And to skin them, you basically just cut the ankles, slit them, and pull them down, the skin. And so that is that was the assignment. He was like, I don't think it is. I don't think it is. And I'm like, well, pay attention next time. So there you go. Brad is saying very true, Aaron. You did eat his homework. Does it taste good? Did you barbecue or did you slow roast? Yeah. So thank you for doing that though. I mean, it's nice to have these little validations. And to like, if someone's really wondering, like if someone starts out and their first one is a male, it might be like, oh my gosh, why is this so much harder than I see in videos? And it might just be that they have a, you know, that they just don't know that these are different. So thank you for doing that, or for getting back to us. Verna says, same with Kui, females are easier to skin than males. Interesting. I wonder if it's because the female's skin has to stretch more because they're females and have babies. I have no idea. Steve is calling you out, Aaron. It says Aaron never pressure canned his water. Just saying. Yep. Maybe he will. All right. Verna, I'm opening a link that you sent me. Oh yes, I did. I did see this. So the link that Verna has is about, I think it was tomatoes, right? About plants making noises that we just can't hear. It's a different frequency. So it's the same, just like we can't hear some bat noises and bats can hear noises that we can't hear. It's the same thing with plants. It's just at a different level. And so like I went to a bat, again, I'm a wildlife biologist. I went to a bat workshop and they have, can you not play that in the same room? Thank you. And they had some information that there was a construction site and there was a maternity colony in, I think it was in a tree or in a cave. I don't remember where it was. And the construction people were told not to do anything. And all of a sudden the maternity colony got abandoned. And what had happened, the only thing that had happened is the surveyors had gone out and they had the locators, the locators that they hold for the pipes on the underground and for the lines underground. And it emits a frequency that we can't hear, but the bats heard, and it heard well enough to make them go away. So it makes sense that just another thing is making another noise that we don't have the capability to pick up on. So pretty interesting. Yes, that was that link. I think that was that link. Yeah. Aaron says we did barbecue. All right. That sounds good. Brad says white-tailed deer are the same way, especially older, very mature ones. I deep fried Aaron's rabbit and also rotisserie some of his quail. Aw. So interesting. So this is not just limited to the to those animals. I wonder if the same is true of the quail. The quail is so easy. I don't pay attention, but I might have to pay attention next time to see if they're a little more connected or if this is a mammal thing. Interesting. Steve, we do pressure canning. Yeah, Aaron, but the assignment was water. So we're talking about before Aaron and his family pressure canned, they're a little nervous about it. And I said, pressure can water, because all you're going to end up with is sterile water. And you're not going to waste food. So, and then they didn't. They pressure canned something else, which is good. Oh, yeah. So Dawn, that's the same one. So Dawn had sent me the article talking about that. So maybe I didn't see that video there, but I did hear about it. And I think Ed also sent out something. But yeah, about the tomatoes. Very interesting. Aaron says we had to start after this group peer pressured me to do it. No pun intended. Peer pressure canned. Oh no! And now you're happy that you did it, right? You have very stable food, shelf stable food now that you wouldn't have had otherwise, right? Yeah. So good things. Oh, but people can listen to it. Yeah. So Verna, that article that she had, it did have a link to what they sounded like. But yeah, so the link that Verna put was the sounds that tomatoes make. I think it was when they were water stressed, and then when they were like not picked the fruit, but the leaves ripped under pressure. Yeah, yeah. Um, Don says is pretty cool. It is pretty cool. And it makes you realize that there's a lot more going on out there. I mean, I know that there's a lot of people. I sing in my yard. I always have. I mean, when I moved in, I told my neighbors, "Hey, if you find that annoying, let me know." And they haven't they haven't yet. So that's good. But the plants do like good vibrations. They do good things, and that's actually, I mean, there's studies about that. So yeah. Steve says, Aaron, we prefer encouraged, not pressured. Well, Verna says backs on quail females clean easier than males. I'm gonna have to pay attention. I wonder if it's a testosterone thing or if it's I don't know, because they also have to stretch, but not quite, not quite like a rabbit does. The females. Dawn is saying, I think it is for quail. The first two I called today were hens and thought, boy, these are easy. Then when I did the roos the same age, I noticed they were harder to get started. Interesting. Anybody who raises anything else, I'd like to hear your take on it. If anybody raises like goats for food. I don't know if PJ does goats or just milk. PJ, hey, PJ's here. PJ, we have a question. Do you butcher your goats? And if you do, are the males harder to skin than the females? Sorry to say that right now. Welcome. I don't know what everybody else has, but it's interesting. Brad says, y'all need to get Aaron and Christina's freeze-dried shrimp recipe. I ate a whole jar while I was there. I'm not a shrimp fan, but for those that like it, I'm sure it was wonderful. I'm not too crazy about eating a filter feeder. But they're protein. They're good. Good protein. Yujo says, yes, we're happy. I'm going to do green beans tomorrow. Awesome. I prefer, I've never canned green beans because because I eat them all when they're there. My goal this year is to grow enough that I can blanch them and freeze them. Because I end up, peas and green beans, I just end up eating everything. So I just need to have more. But I prefer those and peas. I much prefer frozen over canned, although I've never had home canned of either. So yeah. So I'm glad that you're doing it though. And it didn't take long to get confident, right? Berna says, I often whistle as I work, calms the animals and makes plants happier. Yep. And I'm sure your cooey whistle back, right? PJ says, Aaron and Christina should put that recipe on self-sufficiency in the kitchen. Yes, I agree. PJ, tell them about the changes to quail in the kitchen. Okay, PJ says, haven't butchered them yet, but I've got one dough I'm seriously thinking of doing. Hopefully it's not because she's being a not so fun gal. Well, let us know once you have experience if you think males are more difficult, more tough to skin, I guess, more attached. Don says, Jade and Strike bush beans are stringless, very nice to can. Jade and Strike. I'm going to write that down on my little note thing here because I've never heard of them. Strike green beans. I'm just going to go get them. Tell you guys what I got. I know I keep grabbing props from here. Feels like I have everything in this room. This is the green bean that I grew last year, and it's a stringless, and it's a indeterminate. It's emerite, and so I'm going to be planting that this week, and it'll be good. Definitely stringless is the way to go. Yeah. JJ's here. Hi all. Hi JJ. Welcome. Erica says they got into the chicken feed today and spread it everywhere. The dogs? Oh, there we go. I am getting tempted to find out with my goats. Oh, your goats did. Oh, well, I don't know what to tell you. I don't have goats, but I know people who do. Oh, Vase plays. Oh, Dawn saying to Verna, I saw the change and thought it was awesome. Yep. Hey, Buster. Buster says, hi, all. Okay. It's two different types of green bean. It's jade green beans and striped green beans. Okay. Cool. Tons of beans. Jade is long, thin, tender, and full of flavor. Are they bush beans or are they indeterminates? I'm just curious. I will be planting my green stock with some leftover bush beans they're good, but they have strings, and so I'm going to try and use up the seeds and pick them early. Hopefully that will work out. Gidro says, is it multicolor on the plant? Oh, okay. Dawn says, I forget which one puts the beans out on top so you don't have to bend over. It's one of those two. See, that was part of my issue when I did do bush beans, is that it was all like, that high on the ground. And I'm gonna sneeze. Maybe. We'll see. Okay, they are bush beans. So that was my issue with that, is that I would lose them, and I would find them after the plants were like, it's be like, oh, I grew seeds. That's what I grew. I grew seeds. So, yeah. But it's nice though if one's on top. So I'm gonna be planting that in my green stock today. Oh, and green stock is having a sale. I think their super sale is done today. I think they're gonna do another one for Mother's Day. I don't know. But I do have a link down in the bottom that will give you $10 off, and it gives me a kickback a little bit if you buy from there. So for green stock. All right. Buster said, Verna, I had to work, so watched it later. Oh, on Saturday. Yes. JJ says, hi, Dawn. Oh, hi. Okay. JJ saying hi to everybody. PJ says, quail in the kitchen has changed to self-sufficiency in the kitchen to incorporate all the recipes we can use to be self-sufficient with what we raise, grow, hunt, forage, etc. And I think that's a wonderful idea. Bruno told me about that earlier, which is very cool. Yeah, and saying hi to JJ, and she's tired now. I lost you guys. Hang on. Aaron's saying that's awesome, PJ. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Brad says, I saw the change today. That's good because we love to cook, and we do cook a lot of wild game. Yeah, I have not cooked a lot of wild game. I've cooked venison, and I've cooked pronghorn, and pheasant. I think that's it. And I am not a fan of the gamey flavor. So now knowing what I know now about like having meat rest in ice water, I'm wondering if that would be beneficial for me, like if I were to get some meat like that, to do that and fresh. Anyway, I don't know. PJ says, goat is kicking on the stand when milking. Uh-oh. Can you hobble her? Is that a thing? only when she's on the milk stand. JJ says, have y'all checked out this electric culture? I don't know what that is. So no, I haven't. No, we put your recipes. Yep. Verna says, I got the Mother's Day discount and bought 3 tier green stock. Awesome. You will love it. You'll absolutely love it. PJ says, by the way, hi everyone. Hi PJ. Sorry, I saw your name and I started asking you questions. Hello. Brad says, yep, we also want to share what and how we cook it on our YouTube channel. We just haven't worked up the courage to make our first video. Brad, for me, it took a while. You can see my beginning ones are much different than my current ones, with the comfort in front of the camera. So just think like, okay, you guys, you're friends with Aaron, and just think you're making a video for Aaron. Like, just think of it that way. You're making a video for a few people that you know, and you're just talking to them, and just do it, and it will get better, and everybody will understand. If you're starting out, it's going to be taking a while to get used to in front of the camera and all of that. And if you mess up when you say something, you don't have to do the whole thing over again. Just pause so you can find it in your editing and say that one sentence over again, and then continue. So those are my little tips. And I think doing a cooking on your channel will be fantastic, because everybody's looking for recipes everywhere. So I encourage you. All right. Don says, Katrina, I looked it up and Jade puts the beans on top. Okay. That's really good to know. Well, I'm not getting them this year, but I have lists of plants that I want, believe it or not. And I have tons of seeds and tons more that I want to plant, right? I need more land. Verna says, remember, if you're joining the groups, you must answer the questions. Yep. Answer all the questions and agree to the group rules. So, and answering the questions doesn't mean yes. It means just answer the question. It's not hard. We want to know that you're real, and people's accounts get stolen all the time. So sometimes you think somebody's somebody else and that they're really not. So there's actually a lot of scammers that try and get in that we don't let in. So that's why the questions are there. So there's your deal there. Don says, oh, talking to Verna, I hope your creepy neighbor leaves your new planter alone. He might be tempted since the green stock is so nice. He might not know what it is or why it's there. There are some people who are very clueless about those kinds of things. Hopefully he doesn't mess with it. Yeah. Verna says, yes, you can hobble when on the stand. Okay. You just says, Vay, you fussing me. Oh, she pulls out of the hobble. Oh my gosh, PJ. I don't know then. I don't know. How old is she? Had you milked? Is this her first time milking? Is she still learning, or is she just ornery? Oh, okay. So Verna, he's not gonna bug it. He's not gonna bug your green stock. Landry says, we soak our deer meat in an ice water and vinegar mixture. I haven't heard the vinegar. Interesting. Also, I know for wild ducks, if you cook them down with onions and add a cut up apple or two, it eliminates the wild taste. But then it tastes like onions, right? JJ says, good to have some peace. Yes. Oh, Verna, we are rooting for you with this guy you're dealing with. Having good neighbors is a good thing, and when you have a bad neighbor, it affects things worse. So we're rooting for you. Brad says the bud thing is more my wife's. The bud? I don't know what the bud thing is. Oh, the bad thing. The bad thing is more. No, I don't know. My wife's nervous sis. I'm very sociable. Okay. You can also make videos that don't include a person. If you're doing cooking videos, you don't even have to have a person in it. You can have hands, or you can have, pictures with a voiceover, or you can do. There's so many things you can do. If there's someone who doesn't want to be on camera, but they do the work, then that's, there's all these different things that you can do. Video. Okay. He threw a brick at another person. It was by another. Oh my gosh. Yeah, Verna, I'm glad he's in jail. Goodness. JJ says I can't do live video. Hubby makes too much noise. I understand that. There's so many times when I turn on the camera and start to film, and Manuel walks into the room and says something. I'm like, I literally just started. Literally. You guys don't see that part. Just gotta say go over there. Steve says to Brad, start by talking to each other, then she can migrate to the camera when she's comfortable. Yeah, that's another good idea. And again, a person doesn't have to be in the video, that's not required. There's plenty of cooking videos out there that you never see the person who's doing it, if that's what she's concerned with. It'd be a little mystery. Verna, Katrina, you have to talk about September 2nd and 3rd. Yes, I do know. Oh my gosh, it's already 6:30. Christina, answer the questions, please. Oh. to get into the cooking one. So September 2nd and 3rd. Pretty much everybody I think everybody who is on the comments who are commenting right now already knows, but for those people that are not commenting, or for those people that are watching this later, QuailCon. QuailCon is a thing, and it's coming. It's in Ohio at Myshire Farm. So Zach with Myshire Farm, he hosts it every year, and this is the 3rd annual. That's right? Yeah, 3rd annual, and it's going to have so much going on. It has a humongous. It's a 2-day event, and it has just so much going on. I'm going to be there speaking and doing a masterclass on aviaries on the first day. It's a Saturday, Sunday. On Saturday, I'm going to be on the 2nd. There we go. I'm going to be hosting a masterclass on aviaries and everything to do with aviaries. We're going to check out his aviary and how we could adapt it for quail. It doesn't have quail in it right now, and all of that. So we can really get into that. Verna is going to have a masterclass on intro to quail, intro to raising quail. I think that's it. Who's on here right now? But there's a lot of people helping out. There are Linda with Quail University. She's going to be doing a marketing masterclass. Whiskey Tango Farm is going to be doing a rabbit demonstration. I'm not sure exactly what they're doing, but they're doing something with rabbits. Dale from Dale's Quails is doing a build your own demonstration. So he can say, okay, well, let's think about how you can build cages. And if you don't know Dale already, he does a lot of quail cage building and selling. So that's his business, is he sells pre-made kits. Basically, he builds them, the pieces, and then you can put them together when they come in the box, and they're really good quality. Jasmine from Time and Timber is on the next day. She will be talking about quail enrichment, and she has aviary as well. And there's going to be an MPIP guy there. I think his name is Jim. Zach's going to be talking about Quail for Profit. George, who works for Zach, is going to be talking about breeding, I think. And going back to the first day, Melanie and Ricky are going to be talking about farm safety. I'm going to do a workshop on that. Did I miss somebody? I feel like I'm missing somebody. Anyway, it's a lot of fun. Lots of people get together. You get to see Zach set up for his quail barn, which is pretty cool. Crafts. Cali Quail Keepers, Brooke from Cali Quail Keepers, and Ed Got Bait. They are going to be doing some crafting, and kind of secrets of the quail crafts. The quail crafts. Yeah. So it is going to be awesome. Last year I went and it was awesome. This year it is more jam packed. I mean, they're going to be doing farm tours again and barn tours and sales of eggs, and there's going to be vendors, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So, yeah, hopefully Verna has put a link to that. I'm going to guess she did already. But if not, go on the MyShire website, and there are tickets left for September. Awesome. Steve, what's happening on September 2nd and 3rd? I think you know. I think you do know. You do now if you didn't. PJ says ornery for sure. Yeah, it sounds like it. That goat. Yeah, Verna says you can tie a foot with a rope, attach it to the end of the stand. That could, you could do a whole lot of things, but if she's ornery in the end, it might not be worth it. Depending on who else you have in the lineup. Yeah. Dawn's laughing at Steve. PJ says, you did tie her foot to the stand. She kicks out every time. Broke my stand at one point. Luckily, I fixed it, but she's crazy. But sweet as can be otherwise. Maybe she's just not meant to be a milking goat. Maybe she's meant to be a mama without milking. Interesting. Brad says, we have quite peaceful neighbors. They just don't cut their grass more than once a year. That's all right. See if you can go raise goats over there. Not goats. The goats shouldn't be raised on all grass, right? Yeah, see if you can raise something over there. Get some cattle and say, hey, we can raise it up. That's how you get land for free, is to use somebody else's land. Yeah. Steve says, Landry's, bet you can get more garden space over there. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You can go to them and say, hey, if I do whatever you want to do with this land, I'll give you 50% of the harvest, or 50% of the beef, or whatever. I mean, you could make a good deal. You might hay their grass. There you go. You might need some hay. And then they can call it a hay field. Yep, 3rd annual. I have shirts from the first 2, Verna says. Steve says, Erin is going to cook her dinner. Yep. Oh, yes. So there's butchering. I forgot. So butchering, Jasmine from Time and Timber is going to be demonstrating butchering and teaching butchering, and Erin, our Erin, is going to be doing that as well. Who was the 3rd person that was doing that? I don't remember who the first person was. Was it Kelly? I don't know. Who was the 3rd person, guys? But there's 3 people that are going to be demonstrating and helping people learn how to process quail, which I think is very valuable. My first time was just, I had watched a bunch of videos and I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. And I would have preferred having someone there right next to me that should show me in person and say, okay, do this. It's really, technically it's very easy. Emotionally it can be different, but technically it's very easy. But it's still, I think it would be nice to have someone show you how to do it. Let me know who that 3rd person was. Was it Kelly? I don't know. Did I just volunteer you for something, Kelly? Brad says, I'm trying to buy them out. Okay, soon, both side of me. More property for gardens and animals. Awesome. Good luck. Good luck. Aaron says, what's this event in September? It's QuailCon. And we know you're going. You better be going. Pay attention. Verna says. Aaron says, I cooked tonight. Oh boy. PJ's laughing at you. Oh, keep practicing, Aaron, Steve says. Oh boy. Oh, Kristen and Brandon on genetics. That's right. Oh, so they're doing the rabbits and genetics. That's right. Okay. I had forgotten. Thank you, Verna. Steve says, and you get to meet Katrina in person. True. I'll be there. It'll be fun. Yes, absolutely. Steve says, a workshop's the rabbit too. Yeah, I remembered that one. And I don't know why I forgot, because Kristen is like the Celadon person. Like, she's the one that knows all that stuff. So yeah. But you notice I did all that from memory, not looking at anything. Erica says, I'm eager to meet everyone. Yes, it is great. It is great. Yeah. Aaron says, can we get autographs from Katrina? Sure. Just not on a check. Verna put the link there. Very good. Verna says, tomorrow night looking at My Shire for third cookbook, everything pickled. Awesome. Verna has a series of cookbooks there. S.O. Swanson says Brad butchering. Don't know why you're saying that, but that's okay. I missed something. Oh, Brad is butchering. That's right. Okay. Yes, Brad James is going to be butchering. Awesome. So those were the three. I knew there was one more. Hey, David Lister is here. A big okie howdy. Howdy, David. Welcome. Brad says y'all should see Aaron's 7-year-old butchering a quail. He's a champ in my book. Absolutely. There were several kids that did that last year, that learned for the first time. I know Steve's grandson, right, learned last year. And I think it's a good skill to have and understand where your food comes from. Yeah. People saying hi to David. Erica says, I have to have my husband do the first step for butchering. Once it's the carcass, I'm fine. Yeah, and that's fine to work in partnership. I dispatch. Manuel cuts the head off, and then we put in our cones and drain them, and then we have. He usually cuts off the ankle, the foot. He cuts off the foot and slits the skin on the chest, and then I do the rest. Yeah, he doesn't want to kill them either. Yep. And Base Place says, yes, Lane is great. He's even better than his dad with the bees too. He's gonna be quite the little young man. You're teaching him all the good stuff. No autographs on checks. LOL. Yeah, JJ, you have to specify, right? Camping pass. Okay. There are limited spots. I don't know how many, but camping in the field at My Shire for QuailCon. And there's dinner tickets. Dinner is going to be quail with, I think they're going to do a roast pig again, and that was really good last year. And sides. So everybody gets quail. David says, our son and I are working on a 3-cage rabbit hut. Time got away from me. Well, good luck with that. Awesome. Hopefully some of the videos that we did helped with that. A lot of our stuff is retrofitting at this time, because I think all of our hutches have been from somewhere else, and then we retrofit it. Like the ones that have our breeders in it, they were basically the same. We replaced the flooring. We did a little bit with the roof and stuff, but the legs were only this tall, so they were only that far off the ground. So we jacked those up and have big legs. Yeah. But hopefully it goes well. PJ says, my grandson will need to learn butchering too. Is James going to help? Asking Steve. I'm sure he's going to get right in there. He's a pretty involved kid. Don says, I do it all by myself. Hubby's too chicken. Yeah. Oh, we started off with him only helping, just cutting off the head, just because it's easier to hold the body and the head and have someone do that, so that the head can go somewhere else and then the body can go into the cone. It's faster that way. So, and then he started helping more. He still doesn't want to do the guts. Steve says, yes, PJ, James loves to butcher. They take time with the kids learning to butcher. Jasmine is wonderful. Yep, she is. Brad says, my 2 little girls get a little involved. My 9-year-old will eat anything we cook or clean. My 4-year-old is picky and won't eat nothing but fruit and chicken nuggets. Oh, well, at least she's having fruit. Isn't that funny how you get different tastes from the same family? Verna says there are only 6 camping passes left, so you better get yours now. Okay, there's only 6 left, so that is filling up. That is filling up. Steve says, in that case, Dawn, let him hold them after you do the deed. That's probably worse. That's why we have cones. We don't have to hold them. Erica says, Andy grew up hunting, so dispatching doesn't bother him. Yep, that's good. JJ says, Brad, you need to figure out how to make quail nuggets. Yeah, you can do that pretty easily. Probably just pop out the breasts and make those into nuggets. There you go. Don says, hubby is out at the cages talking to them and saying goodbye, and he doesn't like quail. Sure. Oh boy. Erica says I accidentally got an extra camping pass if anyone needs it. Good to know. And Aaron says, wow, Verna, that's awesome. Yep, it's filling up. JJ, that's a good idea for the quail nuggets. Yeah. Steve says, oh yeah, to text Dak and he can fix it. Yeah, he can do that. Yeah, or if you're donating to someone, you can probably do that too. Like if you just overpaid and wanted to give it to someone. But yeah, text Dak. That's a good point. Oh, he would never touch them dead. Well, that's because they're dead, not alive. Done. Brad says our quail pen will be ready this week. Our first batch of quail are coming soon. Awesome. Good. And you are getting them as adults, or are you getting them as eggs or babies? I mean, not babies, but young ones. Good luck. And let us know how it goes. And if there's questions, you know where to go. Hey, Diana Tuttle Top Farms here. Hello. All right, we are almost at 7:00. So let's go back and talk about what plants talk about. Did anybody actually watch the documentary? If not, we can talk about some of the things that they talk about. One of the things that I thought was particularly interesting when I watched the film was the mycorrhizae, which I had already heard about and already talked about, but it JJ says I did but forgot. Yeah, so what I found interesting was what they were talking about in the forest, that they had the mycorrhizae, which is it's a fungus, it's a fungal network, and it's underground, and that makes things move. It takes the nutrients from the soil and trucks it around to the different plants, and the plants give the fungus the energy from the sun. So they give them basically sugars and that they need to grow, and making carbon and all that. They get the nutrients. So there is actually nutrient gathering from these mycorrhizae. They go into the cracks of the soil and all of that, that the roots can't get into. They're small enough. And then they basically take it back to the plant, and the plant uses it and continues to grow. And it's a symbiotic relationship. And if you look out at, like, if you've ever driven through any agricultural orchard, basically the ground is bare. You know, they don't even like weeds, especially like if it's an almond crop or something that they shake to the ground. They don't like even weeds. It's bare. And you realize that with that bareness, you don't have soil really anymore. You have dirt. You're missing a lot of the life that's in the dirt that makes it soil. So that's something that I know with my yard. With my trees, I have the wood chips around them, and not only does it go to towards the moisture saving in that area, it also, when those wood chips break down, they have mycorrhizal fungus already, and that grows. And so by having that in your garden, by your fruit trees, or any tree, that's going to increase their health and also their ability to deal with things like disease or drought, or like my citrus that got overwatered because we, had buckets from the sky this winter. That helps them to really manage the situation better. So that's the primary thing I took away. Not primary, but the thing that I took away that I can apply here where I am is the wood chips and the mulch and there's that layer on the forest floor, the duff. And if you keep that on the ground, you're going to have all these different things that are just like really, really good for these plants. So that's one thing. And let's read the comments and we'll talk about another one. Diana says, we are building more cages, have 74 days to 2 week. Okay. 70 birds that are 4 days old to 2 weeks old. That's good. Brad says Aaron is hooking me up. He's coaching us, probably 3 to 4 week olds, so they don't have to be under a light. Yep. I have full brooders right now with chicks. Awesome. Brad says I will do the Quail University course soon also. Awesome. If you use my affiliate link, which Verna so kindly posted below you, then I'll get a kickback, and that'd be great. And I'm sure Aaron has one too. But that is that's a really good it's a really good course to go through. It really is. David Lister, do you have a Facebook page? Yes. So I know several people have tried to friend me on my personal one, and I'm trying to keep like this community kind of separate from, my high school friends. So it's under Sow and Tare, and actually I think Verna put a link there. So yeah, it's under Sow and Tare, and that's the Facebook page that I have right now. I'm planning on doing like a community page, and I just haven't done it yet. There's so many things on my plate right now. But I will be doing that at some point so that we can have discussions on there, like with everybody. Yeah. So that's the plan. But yeah, if you do it on there, that's where to contact me there. Yeah. So that's a good question, David. Thank you. And I think it actually, there's a link in the description as well. Yeah. Verna put the food preservation playlist. That is a really good playlist to check out. Tomorrow's video is about pressure canning part 2, and that's pressure canning quail. So it's about how to pressure can. We just happen to be pressure canning quail. So you'll, if you have not experienced that yet, that is definitely one to check out. And if you haven't experienced the intro to canning playlist, that is a really good playlist, I think, for people who have not canned or are thinking about canning, or maybe have water bath canned and haven't pressure canned yet. Yeah, and I still haven't done the water bath canning experiment because honestly, I haven't had anything to, not experiment, lesson. I haven't had anything to water bath can. I'm thinking about buying some apples and making some apple juice though, so maybe that will happen. I'm going to figure out something to can for you guys soon. That's a water bath. Yeah. Kelly says, hey again, here listening on and off while getting the kids ready for bed. Hi, Kelly and kids. I hope you're doing well. JJ says, I love Verna's resources, learning something new every day. Oh, the resources from the from Quail University. Yeah, and all the resources. I mean, you can learn from everybody. You can learn something from everybody, which is pretty awesome. And we can confirm things like male animals are harder to skin than female animals. Yeah. David says, okay, we'll post a pic of rabbit cage when it's finished. Thanks. Yeah, I think I messed up when I did that and I didn't make it able for people to post, but you can definitely put it in a comment of a video or of one of the posts that I do. And then when I get to it, I'm going to make a community one because I do need to do that. But yeah, we'll definitely see it if you put it there. Awesome. Kelly is saying hi. JJ's asking Kelly, kids go to indoor beds and anything with feathers go outside, just in case you just get distracted. Verna put a video to or a link to a video that I did a little bit ago, canning quail and rabbits, and I did that together in the same canner, not together in the same jar, but together in the same canner. And yeah, there you go. Ed, welcome, Ed. Sorry, forgot it was Monday. Hi, everyone, but I can't stay right now. Hi, bye. Thanks for stopping by, Ed. Oh, Feathered Connections is laughing at JJ. Steve says possum dinner at Ed's house. I don't know. They keep running around, right? I saw the video, Ed. Verna says, yep, even those that seem to know a lot will say, from my students, I have learned. Yep. And you should continue to learn. That's the good thing. And that's the good thing about having raising your own food. So if you have your own garden, you have your own animals, you have your own space to do things, you have your own microclimates, you have all of your own experiences. And that means that while someone may be gardening 10 years longer than you, they're not an expert in your garden. You're the expert in your garden. So you know what things work, you know what things don't work, and you're going to keep learning. And people can learn from each other. But everybody is their own expert when it comes to your own garden and your own animals. You know, knowing their personalities, knowing, okay, well, I know that this animal needs little extra attention today, like Meatball did in my video today. She gets that way sometimes. So I don't even know. I don't think it picked up on the audio that she kind of makes these little squeaky grunts when she needs more attention, and she's like, "Come here." And so I give her more attention. I'm soft. JJ's laughing. Ed says, I wish. Oh boy. Verna says, instead of looking at what you can't do, you need to focus on how you can do something. Exactly. Yeah, and that could mean, like I think Brad said, buying the neighbor's property. And you can't buy it, and see if you can rent it or share it or something. Yeah. All right. So it looks like JJ might be the only one that watched the video. Sad. So that was number one thing that I saw is the mycorrhizae and the relationship that we can do in our gardens with the deep litter, and then also by adding, you can buy mycorrhizae from Amazon or nursery or whatever, and there's different species of mycorrhizae. They're different. Steve watched it. All right, which one's your favorite? Your favorite part? I know, Verna. So busy. I know, it was an hour too. I understand. Yeah, and so you can buy mycorrhizae, and if you have a newer bed that might not have mycorrhizae in it yet, you can add that when you add the plants, and that will have a relationship with the plants, and your plants are likely to do better. So, Steve, what was your favorite, or what was your takeaway? Yeah. So we talked about there's a tobacco plant that changed pollinators in like 8 days because it was being attacked by the moth, the caterpillar of the moth that is usually its pollinator, and so it decided, okay, I'm going to change pollinators, and so it changed its flowering time into daylight and even the nectar. So I don't know if you guys realize that thing that he put like a drop of nectar in it, and then he looked at it. That's called I think it's called a Brixometer or Brix meter maybe. And what that does is it measures how much sugar is in the nectar or is in juice. So like you can get a Brix reading for different kinds of fruits in your orchard. So that's what that thing was. They didn't really explain what he was doing, but that's what he was doing. And so I thought that was interesting. And like, well, why did the tobacco plant ever have a like, why did you even attract the caterpillars? Like, why not just have hummingbirds? So, and people don't know. So anyway, that was something that I found really interesting, that it just changed everything. Yeah. JJ says, I ran into electroculture after watching your plant documentary. My plant documentary, I wasn't mine. It's PPS's. I had nothing to do with it except for watch it and share it with you. People are putting copper antenna in their garden to collect sun, rain, wind energy to replenish the soil. Interesting. I have not heard about that. I do know that when lightning strikes, it actually brings in minerals into the soil that are not found on Earth. It's found in the atmosphere and in outer space. And so I know that mineral deposition can happen with that. We're finding out all sorts of stuff that never, it sounds all science fiction-y, right? Yeah. Interesting. I'll have to look into that. I mean, I have a copper in my yard, but it's a grounding rod for the house. It's like, I don't know, 8 feet 10 feet long, and they pound it into that tall. Yeah. Erica says, plan to watch it, just been busy with the puppy. I understand. Hope the puppy's doing good and getting healthier. Yeah. Steve says, I was left pondering, do they talk or is it the ultimate design? I liked the color changing flowers. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing they left off, is that there's definitely communications that are happening, and there's definitely like chemical communications and whatever else. But there's no like central nervous system. Like we have a brain, we know where everything comes from, right? Like it sends out signals and you do things or you feel things. With the plants, we have yet to find what that is in the plants, which is interesting. Yeah, and the color changing. Yeah, it's all interesting. Kelly says our bees come in next Monday. Yay. And you have your bee suit already, right? I think I saw a picture. Did I see a picture? Maybe I didn't. Good job. You're gonna be not far behind Aaron. Pretty soon you'll be catching swarms. We are not supposed to have bees here because I'm too close to a school, which is a bunch of hooey, I think, because I am 3 houses away. And bees are all over the place. So, Verna says, listening to what you have been saying about the video, I have watched it long ago. Probably, Verna. I think it's right up your alley. C says, I didn't like to test when they covered the plant with glass so the other plant couldn't sense it. I mean, it was under glass. Yeah, I think their follow-up test though was like they had a few follow-up tests with that, and I think that was with the daughter and the tomato plant. So daughter, we have it. I haven't seen it local, but I've seen it like, I don't know, 20 minutes away. Daughter is a plant here. It's bright orange. I don't know if that's the same color everywhere, but when it starts out, it's a parasitic plant and it has to latch on to something to basically be a parasite to it. It doesn't have its own roots. It doesn't do its own photosynthesis. It basically steals everything from the plant it's latched onto. And this was an experiment basically in the smell of the plant, the pheromones of the plant being emitted, and then they chose a tomato over a wheat is the answer. Maybe I shouldn't be telling all these spoilers. Yeah. Verna says, wonderful, Kelly. Lane can teach you all about them. Yep. Yep. Steve says, isn't the copper antenna more for electroculture gardening? That's what she was saying. Yeah, that's what she was saying. And JJ says, oh, you spelled it correctly, Steve. Thank you. Steve says, I no longer like the smell of freshly cut grass. Now I like the smell of grasses screams cry for help. I mean, it makes sense, right? Chopping off part of its body, right? Oh boy. Gidros says, I talk to the plants, the bugs, and the animals. That's why chores take so long. I understand. There are tasks that you can do, and you can do them quickly. Or there's the tasks that you can do the way you want to, which is usually not quickly. That's the way it works with me, at least. Yeah. Like when I feed the rabbits, I like to pet all of them and spend all the time with them. And like on the rare occasion when I just go out and feed them, Manuel's like, wow, that was quick. I'm like, yeah, I have to get something done. Yeah. Erica says she is at the vet, the dog, for surgery. She tried to chew off her own tail, so it needs to be docked. Interesting. Is that a nutrition issue, or did she have like bugs that were itching her, or what was the issue there? That doesn't sound fun at all. JJ says, yes, but I tilled this year and my plants aren't communicating too much now. So I was looking at electroculture gardening. The thing is, anything you put in your yard right now, so like I said last week, I add rock dust. I use azomite, but I add rock dust. And when the rock dust is put in, it's not going to affect it this year. It might not even affect it next year. It'll probably affect it like 2 to 3 years down the road, because it has to get through the microbes have to eat it and process it and, you know, poop it out, and then the plants can take it up and then it's available to you. So it's not, and that's true with any of the nutrients. Like you may not see immediate effects with some of the things that you're putting in. Some of the things you're going to see pretty immediate effects, but some of the things you're not going to see immediate effects. But if you do it, then you'll have successes. Yeah. All right, I gotta scroll back up. Dawn says, have a good night, everyone. Time to get off the computer for the night. Good night, Dawn. Thank you for joining. Kelly says, yay, I learned a lot from the Gidros clan. And yes, I have a bee suit and I'm on the swarm list, but the survival overwinter rate for Utah was 50%. Wow. So I don't know how many swarms there'll be this year. Wow. Did it get extra cold there? I know you had extra snow. Kelly's heading to bed too. Have a good night, Kelly. JJ says, right, Steve? Now I feel bad about harvesting, even though I kind of talk the plants through it. My dog and neighbors thinks I'm nuts. No, I think I don't think you're nuts. Erica says, I've heard about the grass screaming when you mow. Yep. PJ says, okay, got my tickets, camping pass, and dinner set for QuailCon 2023. Excited to see you there. Awesome. And JJ says, congratulations, PJ. Now get work on my camper. Well, you have some time. Just don't wait too long. Verna says, I freeze-dried the cooey blood from last culling, fed it to my outside plants the other day. Lucy was mad that I gave it to the plants instead of her. Now, when she goes outside, is she going to go dig it up? That's a question. Yeah. She's like, that doesn't make any sense to me, Mom. Erica says, no idea what triggered it. Maybe nerve discomfort. She was severely dehydrated and skinny when we found her. Yeah, I don't know what causes that, but I'm glad that she's in your care now because it looks like you're taking care of her and she's going to pull through. Erin is saying, have a great night, everyone. Have a great night. Thank you for joining us. Verna says, remember what other people think about you is none of your business. It is a reflection on them, not you. Yep. True. Plants are in pots, which doesn't mean she can't dig in them. Steve says 131 days till QuailCon. It is coming up. I'm excited though. I think it'll be good. It was so nice last year to meet everybody in person and talk and learn a whole bunch and all that. I'm really looking forward to this time. It'll be awesome. Erica says, I can't bring my camper. My husband wants me to leave the house with him whole. Well, you can work it out. He can come. Just bring everybody. Wow, it was 9 left. Is that what you said? 9 or 6 or something like that? Camping spots? That's popular. Steve says, my camper has no floor, but I have my tents. I don't have a camper. I have tents, but I'm flying, so I don't really want to bring camping stuff. I'm going to be staying in a motel, I think. That's what I did last year. JJ says my camper is only in my dreams. Oh. Well, there's all sorts of different campers. And if you're traveling a lot, it makes sense to have one. I think if you're just going camping every once in a while, go with a tent. Kelly says, okay, joking. I'm still here. Kiddo won't go to bed, so still listening. 6 passes left. Okay. PJ says, my camper has no canvas. That's what I have to work on. Oh, it's a pop-up. Okay. Has everyone here bought tickets? I have. I know where mine is. How about ask this somewhat differently? Has anyone here not bought tickets that is going? Yeah. JJ says, ooh, PJ, that will be a chore. I've never dealt with campers. I don't think I've ever spent any significant time in any of them. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of rough it when I go camping. I go backpacking, it'll be all right. PJ says, Verna has hers and her friends. Yeah, it's funny. My idea of vacation is backpacking, which is not everybody's idea of vacation. So, but I don't want to bring a huge backpack to QuailCon. Yeah. It's funny. All right, so everybody's ready, huh? We ran out of questions and stuff. What's going on, guys? Early night? Anyway, so if you guys haven't seen the What Plants Talk About, and I will bring it up again. All right, so what plants talk about? If you haven't watched that yet, I highly recommend that you right click that and open a new tab, and then save it for sometime when you just want to chill out and listen to something or watch something. It's less than an hour long. It says an hour, but then like some reason it repeats a little bit at the end. But it's worth watching. I think it's pretty cool. Yeah. JJ says, "Me too, Steve. That lets me stay in a hotel with hot showers." Erica says, "My camper doesn't leak unless it's raining." Well, last year it did rain. It did rain. Flex tape. I have no idea how to actually fix campers, but flex tape works on rain pants. I know that. And actually, flex, what is it called? Something flex something. You can spray things with it too. It's like a rubberized spray that you can use as well. But they do make tape that you can just tape on. Yeah. JJ won't be going this year. Hopefully next year. And Steve is laughing at Erica. Verna says, "Come to my house in the morning. Help me process 6 cooey." JJ says it is a good documentary. See, it's not just me. I agree. Yeah, Verna's saying, "Oh, JJ, I wanted to meet you in person. Maybe next year. Yeah." Steve says flex tape or spray does not work on campers. Don't ask how I know. It does work on, well, the flex tape works on rain pants. And I have used the spray for the flex, the spray, and I don't know if it's worked or not because honestly I didn't pay attention. JJ says, "I tried, but it looks to be sold out before I can get the funds for it." It might not be, JJ. It might not be. I don't think it. I think they had 200, somewhere around 200, 250 left as of yesterday, and yeah, if you're wanting to go, I say at least check in when you're ready and you save enough, and then at least check in. It's a good event if you're, especially since you're just starting out. I think it's a good it's a good thing, and you're in the Midwest already, right? Because I know it should be drivable for you. I think I may be mixing up where you are, but I think it is, isn't it? Yeah. Erica says no, it doesn't. Oh, it doesn't work to seal your camper. JJ says yes. I want to meet everyone too. It seems like a good group of people. Yep, it is. It is. Verna says it is only camping passes that are going. Still plenty of QuailCon tickets and meal tickets available. Yep. And Steve says, JJ, it is a group of great peoples. And PJ's agreeing. It's an awesome community. JJ says, LOL, well, since my camper is in my dreams, I won't be camping. Well, there you go. Steve says, JJ, I have 2 tents. You can borrow one. There you go. You got that taken care of. As long as you don't offer it to someone else. Verna says, last year there were many there that have not even raised a quail. And after hearing my speech, they realized to just do it. And that's the key. That's the key is to just do it. And especially, Verna, with you and your situation right now where you are space limited, you're still doing it. So what's other people's excuse, right? Yeah, it's great. JJ says, I am about 1.5 hour drive. Not bad. Sometimes I also live in West Virginia. So, why I might be mixed up. There you go. Yeah, 1.5 hours is not bad at all. Yeah, absolutely. I think I'm hoping that you're able to save and do it because it's really great. It's a 2-day event. It's on the 3-day weekend. So it's a really great time, and everybody gets along. Everybody shares stories. It's awesome. Yeah. Baseball says, if I can do it, anyone can. Raising quail. Yeah, absolutely. Steve says, I started on my back porch in a trailer park raising quail. You can do it anywhere. You can do it anywhere. Yeah, there's lots of different ways to do it. So there you go. And I just heard a male quail agree that yes, you can. Yeah. So the Myshire Egyptian fees have been out in the aviary, and they are doing really well. I plan to have a video out after they're 8 weeks old, so it won't be this week, it won't be next week, but maybe the week after. I'll put a video out of them kind of going through the process of hatching all the way up, so you can see what the Egyptian fees look like, and all that they're doing. They're really good. They're doing really well. So I'm gonna be doing that. And JJ says I started under the dining room table raising quail. Under the dining room table. I don't have a dining room. I have a table in the living room. Is where my incubator lives. So there you go. We're doing the same thing, JJ. Hey, Vicky. Welcome. She says, I started quail in some wire dog kennels until I could afford to upgrade to a stacked cage someone built and sold on Craigslist. Any way you do it is fine. Always good to start small. Yep. Start with one batch, and you can call what you need to call and keep breeders. And then once the breeders are kept, and you can rotate them through, and figure out how many you need to hatch out to raise for meat, or if you're just having eggs, just have them for eggs. And it's a really good thing. Yeah, start out. You guys know I raise in aviaries, but my first set, I had a breeder set from someone local I got off Craigslist. They're old, but they had I didn't have an aviary yet, and it took me a few months to make an aviary. And they lived in a rabbit hutch that I got, I think, for free or cheap off Craigslist. And they lived in that, and they were happy. I made them a little tiny sandbox about that big, and they had their drinker and their feeder, a little shoebox feeder, and they did great. And then now I have an aviary and a raviary, which is aviary with rabbits. Yeah. Yep. Verna says, you got that right, Vicky. They have to stop thinking they don't have room and figure out how they can do it. Yep. JJ says, thank you, Steve, about the tent. If we do make it, we'll probably drive back and forth. That's a long drive, but I can see why you would do that. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Erica started in the corner of a living room in a dog kennel. That makes sense. In a fifth wheel. Dog kennel sounds like a great idea, JJ says. Yep. Yeah, you can start anywhere. You can start small. You can start super small. You can start with a dozen eggs and, a tote, and raise them. I mean, I wouldn't want to raise them to full maturity in a tote, but you can. If that's all you have, you can. You have to change bedding and all that a lot, depending on how many you have, but you can raise them. I mean, I've seen people have them in hamster cages. That's, small scale, but good. And they're doable. So yeah, you can raise them any sort of way. Any sort of way. I mean, you can even raise them as house quail. I've seen people that have potty trained their quail, and they say that the way to do that, and this is like one quail that's a house quail, how they do that is like they have a paper towel and they put it over in a corner, and every time the bird poops, they pick it up and put it on the paper towel every single time, and then the bird figures it out, and when they need to poop, they run over there and poop on the paper towel and run back. And so that's, yeah, you can literally do it anywhere. JJ says, wondering what Erica started in the other 4 wheels. Oh, ho, ho. Diana says, I'm from Kansas and drive 10 hours and love the conference. Yes. Yeah, I'm coming from California. I'll be flying. Well, I'll be in an airplane. But yeah, it's really, it's a really good thing. It's a really good get together. And I honestly feel that if there was just one day that there wasn't anything planned and it was just people talking to each other, it would still be worthwhile. Because that's what I found, is that like so many people were just talking to each other and, you know, telling stories and getting to know each other and all that. Like I found that really valuable too. So yeah. Airplane sounds rough. It's a long ride. I did, welcome back, Verna. I did my undergraduate work in my undergraduate degree in Iowa. So that was a long trip. Ohio is just a little bit longer. And sometimes it's not as long because of layovers, right? I mean, you just have to figure a full day of traveling. So yeah. Yep. And I went last year on the airplane. So it went well. Then you got to rent a car, though. That gets expensive. Yeah. It's good, though. Better airplane than driving 2 days? It would be more than 2 days for me, Verna. Yeah, it would be, I think it would be at least 3, and that would be like straight. Yeah, it would be like a week trip to get out and back. And it would not be cheaper to drive. If it was cheaper to drive, you know, might do that. When my brother got married out in the Midwest, we took a trip. We went, you know, across. We saw the Grand Canyon. We stopped at some of Minimal's family in Oklahoma. We went up and, you know, end up going to the wedding, and then saw more of his relatives, and then we kept on driving. We drive back, and we went to my parents' house. They had already been there because they were on the airplane. But yeah, went through Yellowstone and all that. So we made that a trip. But yeah. But what's interesting about September is that we have QuailCon, and in the first weekend, and then not that week, but the next week, I think there's a week in between. I think it's just 1 week, is the Baker Creek Heirloom Expo. That used to be in Santa Rosa, and now it's in like the LA area. So I'm not excited about that because my drive went to from 3 hours to 6 hours, but I plan on attending that. So it's always and that's another really great group of people that are, you know, obviously more plant oriented, but a lot of fun. Yeah. Erica says 20-hour drive to pick up my dad, then 3 to Ohio. Awesome. Is he coming with you? Awesome. Yeah, Verna's saying wonderful. Ed's back. Welcome back, Ed. Okay, wife went to bed. I'm back. JJ says, for long trips, trains used to be fun. I've never gone. Well, we used to take a trip I don't know. I think we only did it a few times, actually. We used to live in Southern California when I was little, and my uncle lived in Central Oregon. And I know a couple times we took the train. And one time, they somehow double booked our seats, and like I just remember that we slept in the baggage car on the shelves, and apparently that was how they fixed the situation because they double booked. They're like, well, everybody on. And I remember sleeping in one of the shelves for the luggage. Yeah, I don't even know if my parents got paid back for that or not. Probably not in those days. Yeah, we were little. um, yeah, so that's. I have not done a cross country train trip. I can imagine that it would be, um, it could be nice and peaceful, and it could be very frustrating because you can't. If you're near frustrating people, you're on there for a long time. But if it's one of the peaceful routes that people are calm on and stuff, then it'd be good. Yeah. Hey, Chelsea's here. Better late than never. Hi, everyone. Hi, Chelsea. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. We already talked a little bit about the topic of what plants talk about, and I'll put the link here to that again. You can right click and open in a new tab and watch that later if you haven't already. Really great documentary about plants and their communication, and we talked a little bit how that applies in our gardens. Steve says, Katrina, you sure they double booked or your parents took you as carry-on? I think we were double booked. Ed says, get a sleeping Beth on the train. I don't know what that is. And Verna put up my affiliate link for Quail University. Thank you. Yeah, and QuailCon 2023. Chelsea, are you going to QuailCon? A sleeping birth. Okay. Chelsea, you're going to QuailCon 2023. We just talked about that. I'm going to be hosting a masterclass on aviaries there, and a whole bunch of other people are doing a whole bunch of things too. It's going to be a good time. Yeah. So something else that happened this week was both of our breeder females had babies. Tortellini had 3 babies, and that's pretty small. She is getting older. I was trying to think of how old she was. I know she's Meatball's mom, and I think I have the paperwork somewhere. By paperwork, I mean a printout of an Excel sheet that the lady gave me. I think she was born in like 19 or I think 19, maybe. Yeah, but she had 3 babies. Meatball had 9, so that's good. And all those sticks that I gave to our new breeders, I gave them to them yesterday, and they're almost all gone. They loved the current branches. Very cool. I'm sure they wish they had leaves on them, I'm sure, but yeah, they are chewing on those. Yeah. Steve says, "Oh boy, more babies to name." No. The babies are not going to be named. They're going to be canned, probably, or frozen. No, we're not keeping any more breeders. We're filled up. We're all filled up. Yeah. Chelsea says, I would love to hear you speak. Probably out of my travel range this year with all the animals I have to care for right now. I understand. It's a good idea to make friends with a neighbor or somebody local that you can rely on, and that'd be really good. Another thing to do too is make things as automatic as you can. And I have videos about automatic waterers, and also I call it the ultimate quail feeder, ultimate no waste quail feeder. I still will be doing one of those as well for the chickens. I haven't done that yet. It's not high on the priority list. They get food. Yeah, but I'm going to do one of those for chickens. So it's going to be bigger holes, and it'll be good. Verna says, are you going to sell Tortellini as a pet since she's getting too old to breed? At some point I will. Yeah, at some point I will. Right now I don't feel like I need to. But at some point Yeah, that's my plans. Is I treat my rabbits like pets, my breeders, and so I figure that there's a lot of people who just they dispatch them and they eat them when they're at the end of their breeding life. I feel like they gave me a lot. They support me, and therefore I should support them back by finding them a home. So that's my opinion. A lot of people just eat them. But my opinion is that they gave a lot, and I've put a lot of work into them to, they come up. Well, I didn't put in the work for tortellini. Person before me did, but for them to come up to me and want pets and want all that stuff. Now Ravioli is demanding that now. If I put my hand in the, like, if there's the cage and I heard the hutch bottom, I put my hand in like that, she'll nudge and she'll be like, pet me, pet me. And Rigatoni's not there yet. She will come up to me, like, she'll nudge my hand, or like if I put my face down, she'll nudge my forehead, but she doesn't yet really enjoy being pet. She's kind of getting better at it, but she's not there yet. But I figure they've done enough for me that I can find a home for them. So that's the plan at some point. I think not yet for tortellini, but we'll see what she does next year. Yeah. Ed says, "Dang cat been killing my wild baby bunnies." Oh, well, that's what cats do. They kill things. Chelsea says, "We are in extreme urban community. Like, I can touch the neighbor's house. I'm trying to keep our animal count a secret from the neighbors." Yeah, my neighbors to the south, the house is 10 feet away from my house, the walls, not the roofs, the walls. And then on the other side, my neighbors, it's my house and then their driveway and then their house. So we're pretty close, but we're not like San Francisco living. Yeah. Well, make a friend that's not a neighbor. Yeah, but it's always good to have someone that knows what your animals need, or to have a checklist somewhere that in case of emergency you can call someone and say, okay, this is what needs to happen, so that way they're taken care of. What I really like the way I have my animals set up is everything is set up for long term. So the only thing that absolutely has to happen when I'm gone is the rabbits need to be fed, because their feeders don't get filled up all the way unless they're nursing, or if they're babies in there. But other than that, they have a feeder. The quail and the chickens have feeders that last a very long time if the chickens don't kick it out. And even so, they kick it out, they get to find it themselves. And the rabbits even have, everybody has water at all times. The faucets are on with the float valve, and I don't have to worry about it. So that's really good. Yeah. Yeah, and Verna says, "I understand that. I'm in an apartment." Chelsea says, "Working on the automated feeders and waterers. Just bought supplies this weekend." Awesome. Hopefully you saw the video that I had for the automatic waterer. And if you're doing it from the inside, you might have to fill up the bucket and not use a float valve, unless you actually want to fasten that to a water source, which is better because then it's on all the time. You don't have to worry. But yeah, that's great that you're doing that. And the only thing I would say is that plan more time than what you think it's going to take, because projects always take longer than what you plan. So yeah, plan a whole day for one thing. And good luck. Verna says, "That's great, Chelsea." Erica says, "My sister had a cat bring her baby wild rabbits. Her rabbits had babies. I guess the cat thought she needed more." Oh boy. Like, she's returning them? Is that what she thought she was doing, is catching them and returning them? This guy wandered away. Here he is. How funny. Verna says, "Guy downstairs will take care of Lucy and the other animals if I ever have to go to the hospital." Yep. yeah, just to have someone, in your back pocket to take care of things, and hopefully you're willing to do the same for them. And hopefully you don't go to the same event at the same time. JJ says one of my neighbors think this is a HOA and doesn't like gardens, animals, and dandelions. Yeah, it sounds like, JJ, it sounds like people are growing in around your area is what it sounded like from talking on here before. Yeah. Yeah, no, not in a HOA, never will be. Yeah. And who are they complaining to? That's the thing. I mean, maybe you offer them some garden stuff and say, look how much better this is. I can do this too. Yeah. Steve says, I'm taking my backup with me to QuailCon, James. We will be happy to see him. I'm sure he's grown like a foot. Kids always grow so fast. Verna says, I've done it for him already. Yep. JJ says, I hate those sterile neighborhoods. Yeah. Yep. The one where everybody cuts the arms off of the grass every day. We can say that now. Yeah. I mean, my yard didn't have a lawn. It was literally like 4 inches of that red lava rock and then plastic underneath it and topiary shrubs. That was what my front yard was. It looked like should be outside like a dentist office or something. And now you guys have seen my front yard. It does not look like that. And my neighbors on either side also have, growing spaces, growing yards. And that's like it on the whole block. But we're all like right here. This is kind of fun. And we have plants that go back and forth. Like I got California poppies and the Love in the Mist came in from a neighbor. I had one time that this multi-headed sunflower came in from a neighbor. One neighbor gave me one borage plant, and I planted it, and that's how I have all the borage that I have. Yeah, and the miner's lettuce came in from a neighbor. But yeah, we have stuff that goes in between all the time. I think one neighbor told me that I had red Russian kale one time years ago, and she still has it pop up in her yard. So that's fun. Yeah. JJ says, yep, used to be corn, now it's people. Yeah, corn neighbors are more, they complain less. Britta says, tell your neighbor to keep your nose out of your business. Well, some people just can't, huh? Stay in their lane. Oh, Steve pretends that he's deaf. Okay. David wants to know from Diana, what part of Kansas? He was raised in Wichita. Oh, JJ's laughing at Steve. Britta says, I gave my grocery delivery person a dozen quail eggs as a tip. I also told him about the benefits of quail eggs. He was happy to get them. Awesome. Erica says, I love your yard. I love my yard too. I need to do a video at some point. It'll be pictures and talking, but of what it looked like versus what it looks like now. Because it's not the same place. The realtor, so the person who had the house before, it was a mother and daughter, and the mother had just passed, and she was older. They're both older. The mother had just passed, and it was a short sale. So the daughter thought that she was inheriting the house, and instead found out that it wasn't hers. And so they were hoarders ever since her dad died. Like they always had the shopping network on television. They were always buying things, and there was very little room inside. And there's just boxes of things. And I mean, they had some neat stuff, and some of it was junk, and some of it was neat. But they had garage sale after garage sale after garage sale after garage sale, and still couldn't get rid of stuff, and end up having to donate things to different places. There's some pretty neat, like she had an interesting teapot collection and all that. But the neighbors said that they decorated for every holiday from the street to the alleyway, every single holiday, even holidays that aren't like oh, it's Tuesday, and they would change out the decorations. And the garage in the back was a 2-car garage, and it had one place for a car, the other place had bins. The 1-car garage next to the kitchen, when I saw it, it was all bins almost stacked to the ceiling, and there was one path that went to the screen and porch and to the washer dryer. So this house literally breathed a sigh of relief when all that stuff was out of it. Like it was creaking, it was like settling, it was resettling because there was so much weight on the floors that it had to resettle. But they had decorations outside. They had, I mean, there was a witch that was outside all the time, and they were very into decorating for everything. But it looked much, much different. I think I do need to do a then versus now of at least the garden. Not saying I don't have junk inside, but I know what it looked like before. Yeah. Ed says, I just don't care. So drew them. I don't know what you're talking about, Ed. I don't know what you're talking about, Ed. Chelsea says, I wish someone would help with my front yard. It's all rock. I would love a beautiful edible garden in the front. That's what I did. I borrowed my neighbor's rototiller because at that point, so I had neighbors helping me out, and my neighborhood is really great that way. And that's how I met my neighbors, is I was out in the front doing something, then people just like joined in. So I'm really lucky in that I have really good neighbors. And so the lava rock I put onto the driveway, because the guy who took out the incense cedars in the back, he was going to stump grind those shrubs, but he needed the lava rock out of the way because obviously you can't grind with rock. So people helped me with that. People helped me wash off the rock, and then once those bushes were out, there was blank canvas, and I borrowed my neighbor's rototiller, and I rototilled the front yard. And that is one time when rototilling is a good idea, because that was literally dead. It was 4 inches of lava rock over plastic, and there was dirt. It was not soil. It was dead. Anyway, so once it was rototilled, I still had to get, there was liquid amber trees as street trees, and they had roots that came up all the way to the house. So I was picking out the shoots of that for months, and in one area for a couple of years. And it was a lot of work, but I did that, and I brought in some compost, and I started planting things. I built my boxes in the front, which I would do differently now. I would not do wood. Yeah, and I wouldn't put trees in boxes. I would raise them, but not put them in boxes. But yeah, it's a lot of stuff that can happen very quickly. So yeah, if you can do it, do it. Because edible landscaping is wonderful. JJ says, my mailman is best friends with the HOA neighbor and refused to deliver my hatching eggs, but his boss took care of it. Wow. We have issues with the post office not delivering bills, so that's fun. We're on a practice route. We've been on a practice route for many years. I think it's time for someone else to be on the practice route. We used to have a really, really wonderful mail person, and he was just wonderful. Then he retired. Vicky says, I live in suburbs and don't have any complaints yet. My bachelors do get noisy by 8 weeks old, but they're usually at camp air fryer by 10 weeks. Yeah, my neighbors are really good about stuff. They all know what I'm doing. It can get a little noisy when the males are reaching that age, but they're okay. So we're all good. Yeah. Verna says, I use raised beds and make it into a beautiful garden. That is an excellent point. You can either use raised beds, or even if you don't have the you're by Santa Rosa, right, Chelsea? There should be free compost programs. I'm sure Santa Rosa has something like that. If not Santa Rosa, then Petaluma. I'm sure there's free compost programs, because the city's basically, your green waste goes somewhere, and then it has to be used. And sometimes it's good compost, sometimes it's not great compost, sometimes it's okay compost, but it's something and it's free. At least where I am, it's like I said, it's not the best compost, but it's free. And so you don't even need walls for your raised beds. You can just do a pile. One of my beds back here, the one's long and skinny over by Parmesan, I literally I took a whole bunch of poppies that ripped them out of the ground. I kind of like a hugelkultur, but with poppies instead of wood. And I laid them all in a mound, and then I added that free compost and horse manure that another neighbor had gotten a bunch of horse manure from, I forget where, and we put that there. And for a long time, it didn't have edges, and I did add the edges, but with urbanite from my own yard. But you don't need edges. You just need something that they can grow in. Now, the top 18 inches of soil is where the growing area usually is for most garden plants. For trees, you're going to want to be a little bit deeper. And if you have clay, that's a kind of different story. But yeah, it's raised beds is a good idea. Thank you for mentioning that, Verna. Steve says, roos don't make noise in my belly. Oh boy, you're being laughed at. Verna says, my policy is once the bachelors wake me up in the night, then they are soon for freezer camp. Yep. That's a good plan. JJ says, exclusive camp air fryer. I have not cooked them in the air fryer yet. How long do you cook them for? And does it change if you have more than one in there? That's a question. I have an air fryer. We haven't done much with it. We got it with credit card points. Verna says, Katrina, sub the SC with the D, and you will know what Ed said. I have to look and see what Ed said. Oh, Ed, you're being too creative. JJ says Ed was being polite by not cussing. I used the words Drew. Oh boy. Steve says, Ed, keep it family friendly. I did say that. He kept it friendly enough that I didn't know what he was talking about. Yeah. And by now, we figured it out by now. David says, what type of rabbits do you have? I have Tortellini is the black one. She is a black New Zealand. And Parmesan is the male. He is a Californian. And then the others, Meatball, Ravioli, and Rigatoni, are daughters of those two. So Meatball is a cross. And all of the daughters, they're a cross between Californian and Black New Zealand. So, and they do really well. I have no idea actually if those two are full, like no, they aren't not pedigreed or anything. That's just what they are. What I was told they were. I know Tortellini has ones that look Californian and that look like her. So, and Meatball has never had a black one, even though she has mom that is black. So, yeah, that's what I have. Ed says, I only worry about city officials and I will fight them tooth and nail. Yep. Erica says, I don't think I'll ever catch up on the locust trees or privet. Good thing the goats eat them. Free food. So maybe you relax that part, right? So maybe you say, okay, I'm going to get this area done, put in my garden, this area done, put in my quail stuff. And then, you set a plan that says, this month the goats are going here, this month the goats are going here, so that you can get to it all. Yeah. I get it. I have privet growing in my yard. I don't know where the nearest privet tree is. Like, it obviously came from a bird poop somewhere. I have a couple of privets actually that I need to cut down. One's right on the edge of the pond, like right next to the liner, and the other one is over by the lemon tree, Meyer lemon. Yeah. Chelsea says, yes, Santa Rosa. I called the city and no one knew where to get compost or mulch for free. I need to call the trash company. Yeah, call the trash company, the recycling place, and there is a seed. Oh boy, what's it called? Look up Santa Rosa Seed Saver, or it might be Petaluma, but there's a seed saving exchange up there, somewhere up there, and they will definitely be able to point you in the right direction because people who grow things know where to find free things. Drew is the guy's name. What is his last name? I don't remember, but he knows a lot. Yeah, look up Seed Savers Exchange in I think it's Santa Rosa. Yeah. And then let me know what you find out. JJ says Ed is irritating at times, but I mostly laugh because they are delusional. I have no problem telling them they need to move on or move into an HOA instead of bothering me with their hangups. Yep. Chelsea says, I have lifeless dirt, no worms. My kids can't even find roly-polies. Chelsea, that was my front yard. And it changes quickly. The best thing you can do for it is if you can find someone, I wouldn't buy a rototiller. I would rent one at a like a tool shed, or what's the other one? Cresco. I don't know what's up there, but there are tool rentals that you can rent one, or just put out on Nextdoor like, hey, I'm looking for use of a rototiller for a weekend, and rototill the heck out of it, because that dirt has been compacted and it has been it's been lifeless, and it probably doesn't soak in water very well, so you need to fluff it up. And then I would get some compost on there, and if you can get wood chips, I would put wood chips, and wood chips will break down. Wood chips from a tree trimmer, so like the ones that have the leaves in it and stuff, leaves and small sticks and stuff like that, because that will break down somewhat quickly. So within a year and a half, you're going to have a layer at the bottom of those wood chips of broken down compost. So when I added wood chips to my front yard, I haven't done it in several years. I probably need to do it again. But that's when everything started holding moisture and started doing better. And it takes a while because things have to decompose. But that's what I would do. Hopefully you can find the compost place and put the compost underneath the wood chips, put a layer, like a big layer of wood chips on there. And then for now, plant in containers until that's good, or raised beds if you can afford that right now, do raised beds. But that will make changes very quickly. You can compost your quail poo, and if you have rabbit can go right into that. Quail has to compost separately first, and yeah, I've been there. It might not look like it, but my front yard used to be like desert. It was dirt. It was no soil. So yeah. JJ says, I have tons of pill bugs if you want some. Erica says, exactly, Katrina. Yep. Oh, Steve's being the webmaster again. Santa Rosa City's water department, water smart compost. There you go. There you go. Chelsea, check that out. See, we're good peeps. JJ says, yuck, S.O. Swanson's, that will be sewage compost. That would be a question you would have to ask. And I don't think they're allowed to give out sewage compost. That is generally something that gets put in a leach area. But ask it. If it's from the sewage place, ask it. Yeah. Looks like Vernon put a link for you, Chelsea. Ick, JJ says. Yeah. So Vernon just put a link there. Steve says, I don't think it's all sewage compost. Yeah, I don't think they would. I don't think that's something they would give to the public. It would not be something that would be legal, I don't think. It's a start to make a call. Yep. Exactly. JJ says, if in a city, find leaf compost, but would be worth it for a trip to the country. Yeah, so you kind of missed the boat on this fall, but next fall, when people are raking up their leaves, you can just ask them if you ask them if you can rake their yard and take the leaves away, then they'll let you do it. Or you can just wait for them to rake it up and say, hey, can I have this bag of leaves? And they can say, oh, yeah, and do that. Because leaves will break down super quick, and leaf mold is different than there's leaf mold, and there's the stuff that comes with the wood chips, and wood chip results are better for fruit trees, and leaf results are better for fungal dominated. That's what I was looking for. Fungal dominated is what wood chips will give you, fungal dominated compost, and leaves will give you a bacterial dominated compost. The bacterial dominated compost is good for gardening, like tomatoes and your peppers and all that stuff. And then the fungal dominated is good for your fruit trees. So definitely do that. I started out my racking house with the rabbits with leaves from the front yard from neighbors that blew in, and some pine shavings, the ones that I bought because I didn't have chips at that time. Yeah. Steve says, we're gonna fix your front yard soon. It'll be roly-poly heaven. Erica says, I'm planning some food forest and some raised beds. Awesome. If I were to do things over again, I would do a few things different here just because of the space. And I've gained knowledge since things were planted, but not moving things now. And I definitely want to do like a real food forest at a big property. I think that would be great. Yeah. Steve says most sewage compost goes out to large farms. Okay. And the second link that Vernon did was to the water department. Good. Ed says garbage that includes leaves at the curb are fair game. I believe that's true, but I always want to ask if I'm going to be taking something off the curb. Some places here, they put piles of yard waste in the street, which is so weird because people will do that like all year, like all week long. They'll just put a pile there. Yeah. Verna says, my last 2 hatchings, I have 40 quail in the brooders. Awesome, Verna. Awesome. JJ says, what she said, Kat. I learned the hard way and ended up with mushrooms and mold. Mushrooms is a good thing. Mushrooms means that you have good fungus going on. It's just whether you can eat them or not. And I would not recommend you eat them unless you know what they are. Chelsea says, thanks, guys. You're welcome. And Verna put a link from Steve, Zero Waste Sonoma. Yeah, we'll get you going. We'll get you going. You can do it. That's the thing. As soon as I had everything rototilled, things got much easier out there. And it took a long time to rototill because I had to rototill it over and over and over again just because it was so compacted. But it needs that in order to get life started again. So, yeah, hopefully you'll be able to document your process and tell us about it. Steve says the compost is certified USDA organic, OMRI certified, CDFA listed, and is produced from local facilities that process material collected from residential green carts. Yep. Awesome. Erica says we have 7 acres to work with. That sounds like a dream to me. Sounds like a dream. Verna says, where there's a will, there's a way. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I'm glad that we can help you out, Chelsea, and hoping that if anybody has, similar questions or issues they're dealing with, that we can help out as a group. Yeah. Ed says mushrooms have 3 possible outcomes when eating without knowing what they are. Death, tastes great, one heck of a trip. Yeah, not worth the taste test to me. But fungus in your wood chips is a good thing. So that's something good to know. And then if you're growing mushrooms, you should know what those mushrooms look like. So there you go. And Verna says, worst thing a person can do is to tell me I can't do something, then I always have to prove them wrong. Yep. Got to get it done. JJ is laughing at Ed. They look like trippy type, but I'm not interested. Erica says, some just make you wish you were dead. Yeah, I've only collected chanterelles and what's the other one? Morels and chanterelles. Those are the only 2 I have collected, and they're pretty clear what they are. So, yeah. Sue says, have a nephew is forages like Katrina. He makes me eat a lot of weird things. Ed says I stick with the ones in a can. Yeah, I have friends that are like, so I took botany in college, and I was thinking it was going to be more like ethnobotany, like, hey, here's some plants, what can we do with it? It's not. It was just like, hey, these are the parts of the plants, and here's the types of plants. But I do want to know what I can eat. And so when people go hiking with me, sometimes I'll pick something and give it to them and say, try this. Or like in my yard, I'll be like, hey, try this. They're like, oh my gosh, you're just picking random things. Like, no, they're not random. I know what they are. Ed says, JJ says, I usually step on the trippy type so the school kids don't get to them. I don't know what those look like. I just know the 2. I know some of the names of the ones. I have no idea if they're edible or not. So I like to play it safe when it comes to mushrooms. So, yeah. All right, guys. It is after 8. So unless someone has something pressing, I think we're going to close it up. Yes, I love that book. It's a series. Verna says, have you read the book? It's Clan of the, Bear Clan. It's Clan of the Cave Bear, right? I think that's what it is. Yeah, I love the series. JJ says, I handed a park ranger some slippery elm and said, try it, but no, he wouldn't. Ed says, sorry, I was late. Steve forgot to tell me it was Monday. I believe it. He ate your homework too, didn't he? Yep, shows how they figured out what plants were safe. Yeah, I love that book. I think it's kind of funny because they put like all the inventions that could possibly happen as one person finding them out, but they're all completely like valid ways of finding things out. But yeah, I love that series. It's great. I should reread it now, Berna. Thanks. I need more things to do. I don't. Oh, Steve's apologizing. Sorry, Ed. I'll do better. Oh boy. All right, guys. I'm going to call it a night. And thanks for joining me today. And I hope we had some good conversations to help people out. And getting excited for QuailCon and all these things happening. There's so many things happening, guys. Baseplay says, Katrina, are all your videos from your phone? They are only from my phone if it's a short or if the picture is like this. Because I do transfer stuff. I do take pictures. I do take video and pictures on my phone. You want to see what my camera is? That's what you're leading up to, right, Verna? This is what it is. It's a power shot. I have a teeny tiny power shot is what I use. So I don't have big equipment. I don't feel I need to. I mean, I know that the quality could be better, but I mean, I'm not getting paid yet. So there you go. Buster says, thanks for live. You are welcome. Thank you for coming. JJ says, bye. Good night, everyone. Good night. Erica says, my dad is a survivalist trainer, so I grew up learning how to check edibility. Awesome. Awesome. Verna says, Yeppers, okay, power shot. Yeah, it's the, I don't know. I had one already, but the lens doesn't close and open all the way, and the zoom doesn't quite work all the way. But I've had power shot for years and years and years. Every time something goes wrong with it, I get another one because I like it. It's reliable. The only thing I don't like, and I think it's all Canon, is that they do end up shutting off if you're taking like a half hour or 25 minutes or somewhere in there. They do just decide to stop recording. So you have to pay attention to when time is and go over and turn it on again. But yeah, I got this one because it has the flip up screen. My other one doesn't have that, and it had all those issues. So yeah, there you go. Now I know what you should get. I think you can do everything on the phone. You can do everything on a smaller camera probably too. I mean, I think they're like $400, which is pretty expensive, but cheaper than like an SLR. You don't need that. Not unless you're doing like big grand things. And my color is not great. If there's little light, you guys have seen that. If there's very little light, then it gets really grainy. But that's the only thing with that one. I think is when it's poor light, it doesn't do well. Yeah. Verna says, have a blessed week, everyone. You as well. JJ says, I like PowerShot, easy to use. Yep. That's what I have been doing. Verna says, yep. Yeah, the phone it works. Yeah. All right, guys. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful night. Tomorrow's video is all about the pressure canning part 2. Thursday's video is going to be cleaning up the yard, getting ready to plant. So we will see you next week, Monday at 6 p.m. Pacific time. And that one, is it that one? I don't remember if it's that one or the week after that. It might be short. This one ended up not being short, but I might have a work thing. So there you go. One last thing, Steve says, thanks everyone for some great community. Good luck, Chelsea. Yes, good luck. Expect to report. All right. Good night, guys. Have a wonderful night. Thanks for watching.